I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. We'll call the meeting to order, and we'll start with the invocation.
Let's pray. Father, we pause to thank you for this day, another year. We just thank you for how you bless this city. Thank you for everyone in this room, the leadership on this board. I specifically lift up Mayor Tolmer at this time, along with his wife that is here. We just say thank you. And giving of yourself. We just thank you for Mayor Tolmer and the example that he's provided everybody in this community. I ask now that as we look at tonight's agenda, that we have sharp minds and humble hearts as we serve the citizens of Warsaw. It's in Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. Thank you, Jeff, and a special thank you to the Warsaw Community High School Junior ROTC Color Guard for presentation of the colors tonight. Let the minutes reflect Diane Quantz is not here, at least now, so there are 6 present. We have a quorum. Still requires 4 votes for any action. With that, we'll start with the approval of the minutes from the December 4th meeting. Those have been presented. I'll ask for your approval.
I would move to approve the minutes from December 1st, 2023.
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you. I'd like to welcome all our visitors tonight. We've got a good group here, especially thank my wife for volunteering to come to a council meeting. This was her 2nd meeting in 12, maybe 3rd meeting in 12 years. Very much appreciate her coming to my last. Thank you, Jill. All right. Lynn, the November fund report was presented as well. And I know, Mike, you had a question, and Lynn, I think, was able to answer that. Since they were still waiting for that 2nd distribution, that's why the balances are low. Any other questions? All right. It's an honor for me to ask Dustin Dillon, our street superintendent, to come up and give us his year-end road construction season report. You guys work hard, Dustin. Appreciate everything you do, and I'm sure you've got a great story for us tonight. So, the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. We'll start out here. So 2023 has been an exceptional year for us. A lot of good weather, a lot of good things happening. We'll kind of go through this rather quickly, but some of our highlights, the Community Crossings Matching Grant paving project went on this year. So with that, Center Street from Lake to Indiana, Buffalo Street, Market to Main, which I'm sure everybody noticed as they came in through downtown tonight, and seeing those were redone. Jefferson Street from Bronson to Oregon. Country Club Road from the bridge to the South Corporate City limits. Ranch Road from the railroad tracks to 200 South. over $400,000 in matching grant funds to complete that paving project. As you can see there in the picture, that's when we were in the process of paving city, or right here downtown in City Hall. So our street department paving projects, we'll go through these kind of quickly, but South High Street, South Indiana Street, Warren, Foley, Clark, McKinley Street, and Hendricks Street were paved by our own city employees here. Bayview Drive, North Bay, both North Bay Drive East and West, Yarnell Lane down in Country Club, South Wood Street, South Scott, South Maple, South Indiana, and Southwood on the south side between Winona and Smith as well. Just a few pictures of putting the railroad crossings back down, some more paving work. This is a shot of Ranch Road after it was completed with the new pavement markings. So 16 road segments were paved in-house by our own city employees. Again, the 5 road segments contracted out with the Community Crossings grant funding. So a lot of accomplishment. About $1.2 million worth of paving went into the city of Warsaw this year. Our microsurfacing, this has been a huge tool in our toolbox, especially for neighborhoods, as a pavement preservation technique that works very, very well for us. We've done this in a lot of different areas throughout town, typically giving us an extra 6 to 8 years worth of road life. Again, just trying to maximize those years of life and keep those dollars from having to be respent. But Shawnee Drive, Tecumseh, that's out on the east side of town. Heather Court, Highlander, Mockingbird, Lark, Chickadee Lane, those are all down in Park Ridge, as well as Eagle Crest subdivisions. This picture is actually on Chickadee Lane there. So La Vista, Dogwood, Short Ridge, those are areas down in a neighborhood off of 15 down by the high school. The entire Country Club neighborhood, except for a couple roads that were previously paved, has been done. A lot of areas off of Park Avenue. This picture here, we were able to talk the contractor in. This is Market Street when we were performing that. We did this, it was able to get them to do the work at night, not to interrupt any day-to-day businesses for all our downtown merchants, which was huge. Kept a lot of things still moving. Again, here's Market Street once it was done before the pavement markings were put back on. So huge tool for us. 29 different road segments are completed, as well as 5 neighborhoods in arterial roads surface treated. So again, that's about $445,000 worth of microsurfacing that went into the city of Warsaw. Rejuvenator, this is a product that is basically like a seal coat for roads paved. So usually the roads typically that, as well as funding will allow of what we've paved the year prior. Once we put the seal coat on, again, it's a pavement preservation technique. It's typically 3 to 4 years before we're having to go back in and even crack seal or do things with these streets. So North Bronson, South Colfax, South Scott, Jefferson, Porter, West Baker Street, West Point Drive, were all roads that were sprayed with Reclamite, just under $30,000 worth of work there. Crack seal, I won't read through all these, but crack seal is a huge pavement preservation tool for us. All asphalt's going to shift, all asphalt's going to move and flex, so keeping those cracks sealed up to where the water can't get in due to freeze-thaw damage is a huge attribute for us. So again, there's a list here. We do take the water truck to help cool things down so it's not sticking on residents' tires as they're driving. So there's a protection tool there. But many road segments were crack sealed. Over 30 different road segments were crack sealed, both in-house efforts as well as contracted work. Again, just about $100,000 worth of crack seal work between the two was completed. Pavement markings, this was a huge tool for us this year. A lot of pavement markings, a lot of the things that could really brighten our city up. keep motorists safe. So Market Street was obviously all restriped after it was microsurface. Center Street, Commerce Drive, frontage, 150 West, going out to 30, Husky Trail, Parker Street, Patterson Road, Argonne Road. Again, the list kind of goes on and on. Here's a picture of Jefferson Street, which is part of the Community Crossings grant, but we added roads or pavement markings to that to help delineate, keep our drivers safe down through there. This is a shot of Country Club Road, which was again part of this, the Community Crossings project, but 51,764 linear feet of latex paint pavement markings, as well as 25,000 linear feet of thermoplastic pavement markings. Just a huge attribute. On pavement markings, we were about $82,000 there. So just with what we've done on road markings, or not road markings, but road work itself, we were able to put $1.85 million back into our road networks this year. So a lot of things accomplished there. And just so you know, we didn't start I didn't start the pavement preservation techniques. These are things that we've learned over the years, but was also started by the predecessor. So you guys, all your council members have heard us talk about elements time and time again. So this is one of the unique tools that it has. So back in 2016, our road pavement preservation program was started. You can see here the map. So this is what the road program was. You bump into 2017, map gets a little fuller. 2018, 2019, 2020, or 2021, what's in this 2022, and ultimately 2023. So you can see how every road segment has been touched throughout our city. They may not all been paved, may not all been microsurface, but something has been completed with all this. We're hoping as time goes on that we can change this and speed it up into, instead of a 7-year process, so hopefully we can get into a 4 or 5-year process where we're able to touch the entire city. But just a unique tool, and it's the Elements software has given us this opportunity to where we can track our information and track our progress very quickly. So, any questions on the roads before we move on? Okay, we'll keep going then. Sidewalk work, again, our concrete crew is one of our biggest benefits to our department. We've got a great skilled concrete crew, but some sidewalk work, South Bronson Street and an area on Center Street from Colfax to Grant were contracted out, but in our in-house street department, sidewalk replacement, 5,438.5 linear feet of sidewalk replaced just with our own street department employees. So over a mile of sidewalk was replaced in-house. We did help out the fire department on their new training facility, was able to pour that, which was a pretty good sized project. That would have been equivalent to almost 2,000 more feet of sidewalk. But 453.5 cubic yards of concrete was poured. Again, just a huge amount. The sidewalk, if you add Bronson and Center Street, we were over 7,100 feet of sidewalk replaced in our city. There's a couple of pictures. It's over by Service Electric. Some more here on Indiana Street. As well as here's the training center we were pouring out for the fire department as well. So. As well as some other notable work that we had, all the downtown decorative lights have been replaced now. There's a few little minor parts and pieces that we're waiting on to come in that were back ordered, but all the lights are up and functioning properly. All the downtown sidewalk district, we had a company come in and grind all the trip hazards down throughout our downtown area to keep residents safe as they're walking downtown. Our leaf pickup is complete. Trash collection keeps on going on as always. Storm damage cleanup, again, our yard waste, bag collection, distribution, sign replacements, street sweeping and more. It's been an extremely impactful year. and a lot of gains. So hopefully that'll continue for the future. Okay, in closing, I got this picture of the mayor. I will say, the last 4 years have been an absolute honor to serve the community of Warsaw. Mayor Joe's always stepped up, been able to come out. You know, he's came to every cookout we've ever had. It's been just a huge part. He's always taken the time to be with our guys. Here's a clip of him running the paver. This was down at downtown, or at the Center Lake Pavilion. We got him on the paver and ran. He was a little nervous at first, which was my whole idea of it. But in the end, he was going to run one truck, and I think we ended up running 6 different paving trucks, or 6 trucks through. Finished out the entire lane. But just a huge deal. I mean, a wise person once told me that life is pretty simple. All you got to do is care. And I don't really know too many people that care more about their community than what Mayor Joe Thalmer does. So it's been truly a privilege. I grew up in an era where you believed in your coach, your teacher, had faith in your preacher. Mayor Thalmer, you coached me. You preached to me about our goals and where we're headed. And most of all, I think you've taught me more by just watching you and your leadership than I could ever learn in any book. So thank you, sir. It's been not only my honor, but it's certainly been a privilege to serve the community with you. So thank you very much. Any questions?
Just a comment, and I think I could probably speak for the whole council on this, is that it's also been a privilege to work with you, Dustin. You've done a great job of trying to keep us informed, as well as keeping the public informed about the different projects that are going on. So thanks to you too.
You know, I got to say, in 2016, when Community Crossings started, you know, they required that we have an asset management plan for our roads, to go out and grade the roads, and then the roads would be attended to. Obviously, the worst shape would get the first treatments. We were already a year or two ahead of that. We had an asset management plan before the state required it. So we were ready to go when Community Crossings started. And I got to say, Jeff Beeler, your predecessor, and of course, Dustin, the great work you've done. You guys have squeezed every nickel out of Community Crossings, and it's because of that asset management plan. And you know, your guys are able to do a lot of the work themselves. We did a ton of sidewalk work this year. Some of that money came from ARPA, and that was a whole designation. I asked council how they felt about using it for neighborhood sidewalk projects, and they were all for it. So, Dustin, thank you. It's been, I'm going to tell a little story about Dustin. When Mr. Beeler decided to leave, we were kind of searching through the ranks, and Dustin, maybe had only been with us a few years, but he was ready to go. He told me he was ready to be the street superintendent, and I said, Dustin, you're 6 months, you're going to be the assistant superintendent, and if everything looks good at the end of 6 months, I'll elevate you. Well, after 1 month, he was the street superintendent. He just killed it. Does a great job with his guys. His guys work hard under less than optimal conditions. They're out plowing snow in the middle of the night, and then don't go home, go to bed. They go out and pick up the trash. And you can't ask for any more out of someone than those guys. And Dustin keeps them going. So, a little back at you, Dustin. Good job.
Well, thank you very much. And I will say my right hand is here, my assistant superintendent, Mr. Joe Veeder. He's the ones that controls all the day-to-day chaos. He keeps me on my toes, and I'm sure there's times he thinks I'm crazy with the ideas we come up with, but he finds a way to make it all work, and I certainly couldn't do it without him. So I greatly appreciate Joe. So thank you, guys.
Well, that day you let me get on the paver, I was really concerned that Jill was going to be upset that there were black spots all over those khakis, but I think I kept it clean. I don't think she ever knew.
Well, I did tell him that day, Jill, that if you ever get tired of him, that I'll take him for part-time. We can have joint custody or something. So. Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks, Dustin. Any questions?
Great report.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Seemed like every turn I made this summer on a street, there was something being done. Fabulous, thank you.
Okay. With no unfinished business, let's go into new business. Item 1 is basically just a presentation of the 1782 notice. It's a lot of information. Kind of boils down to the tax rate that was presented was $1.24.17. We're within a couple $100 of the levy, both in the fire territory and the civil city. I asked, again, my last gift to my department heads was to ask them for some cuts, and they obliged with about $290,000 of cuts. And with that, you'll see that down in item number 3, we'll try and get that tax rate knocked down to maybe 120, 19, 122. We're up a few cents from last year. It was $1.18. We've got some money on our debt service from the new parks building. Fire territory went to the levy, to the maximum levy this year. They had been about $300,000 under last year. So we're at the levy, and with that debt service project, we're still just up about 3 cents. We're still under. I don't have it with me, but it was, I think, 2016 was the last time the tax rate was below that. So I should have brought that with me. But point is, our tax rate has held pretty darn steady for the last 12 years. And again, it's up a little bit here. It's been certainly higher than in the last 12 years than it is we're presenting here. But for the most part, we're still within those guardrails of keeping the tax rate pretty steady. Lynn, do we require any action on the 1782 notice?
No.
Okay. All right. I know you all had a chance to study this. Any questions? Again, we've got 10 working days to respond to it. I think we got it, last Thursday?
We got it on the 12th, and we have until the 22nd.
Okay, so there you go. We need to get it taken care of tonight. And the only thing really we're going to ask you to do here when we get down to item 3 is to accept those cuts from the department heads to lower that tax rate. And then Lynn you'll see on the resolution, Lynn is going to ask the LGF to cut our tax rate down to 121.97. Okay. So if there are no questions on the 1782 notice, let's move on to item number 2. Denny, I'm going to have you come up and explain this. This is an item, it's a housekeeping item that we just need to get into the books. So,
Yeah, we're just forming up some language in our employee handbook, appendix 4, which covers the fire department. What we've done is we've pretty much just added that third bullet point to where if our firefighters work unscheduled hours, so if they are asked to come in and cover a shift for somebody who is ill or needs to take off, or they get called back in for a fire that they need extra hands on, then they're gonna make time and a half instead of straight time. The old wording was kind of vague, where we could do it, and this wording is just saying, we are gonna do that for our guys.
questions?
It's the third bullet specifically? Okay, thank you.
This just helps chief with manpower and being able to get the guys to cover shifts.
Chief Mayo, do you have any comments? Okay. All right. So this will require two readings. Is there a time element to this as far as having it done by the end of this fiscal year? Okay.
No.
All
We've
right.
been doing it since August, so here we are now with the first reading.
Pardon me?
Will there be any limit on the number of times an employee can do that, or how long they can?
No, this is just per pay period. If they come in and work unscheduled hours, then they're gonna get paid time and a half for that. regardless if they hit their 27-day hours or not.
Previously, Mike, they wouldn't get their overtime until they hit their 27 days. But now it's bi-weekly that they can get it if they have to.
This is done at the discretion of the chief, right?
Correct, yes. And this is what I found out, that this is actually standard practice at most fire departments, and we just, again, we were able to do it, but the wording is very vague.
Basically, what's happening if somebody on day one ends up getting called back to a fire and ends up working 16, 20 hours, they wouldn't realize that overtime till 2 paychecks later. So the idea here is they're just getting paid the overtime that they deserve instead of delaying it till it accrues after the 27 days.
Right. This is good for our firefighters. It's taking care of those guys.
I move to approve ordinance 2023-1201 on first reading.
I'll second.
All right, any further questions? Comments? Denny, any final thoughts?
No, I appreciate you guys looking at this, this language, that way we can shore it up and there's a lot, let those firefighters know that we're out to take care of them.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion passes 6-0. Ordinance on first reading passes 6-0.
Thank you.
And we will put this on the agenda for the first meeting in January, second reading. All right, item number 3 basically is the $290,000. You'll see that on the first page of Exhibit A. $50,000 from the fire territory and the rest from Civil City. Those funds will be, we're asking you to cut those funds. They'll be taken out of our budget, or excuse me, the budget as we send the 1782 notice back. Those reductions in expenses will reduce in that reduced rate, which is on the last page, $21.97. Just write it $22, if you will. Every department responded and came up with some cuts on spending for 2024.
Well, you had to bend the arms on some, twist the arms on a couple people.
And I let you do that, Lynn. All right. So we do need to have this done so we can respond by the 22nd.
I'll make a motion, we approve Resolution 2023-1202.
Second.
Thank you. Terry, second. Any further discussion? Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Lynn, you may proceed with our response.
Thank you.
All right. Other matters that may come before the council. Or actually, let's move down to any other items to be carried forward. All right. Visitors, questions, and comments.
Good evening, Joe.
Hi, Travis.
Thanks, Mr. I'm here about a proposed revision to the downtown outdoor dining standards. Have provided a copy of this to the planning department. I had a great meeting with both the planner and assistant planner. I don't believe they have any objections, but I don't presume to speak for them. I encourage you to reach out to them directly. You've done a great job continuing to make the downtown a vibrant place and moving forward. With these proposed revisions, we think it will help us to continue to do that. It was great that we implemented this policy a few years back, and just a couple of small revisions will help us make it even better.
Great.
Copies for everybody tonight.
That'd be great. Thank you, Travis. There you go. All right, will this come up at Plan Commission? Or are those just Board of Works?
I think the first time we did it, it all went through the Board of Works.
Board of Works. Okay. Well, certainly avail yourself to these revisions, and if you have comments, you got less than 2 weeks to give them to me. And if you want to think about it a little longer, then kick the can to the other side. So, thank you very much, Travis. Appreciate all the work you guys are doing downtown. Your new place looks great. You want to just tell us a little bit about it?
Sure, so the B&B Courthouse Market is a new artisan seafood deli meat market, as well as the coffee shop that it's always been, that we inherited from David Powell. Partnered up with Jason Brown at 110 Craft Movie to help bring that product here specifically. We'd love to see you guys here with the market, as well as helping solve the food desert in this end of town, where now that's gone. We'll have all your great grocery stuff, none of the processed food, but the outside ring of all the good healthy stuff that you would want to get available for purchase. We also have lunch options, and just some coffee and everything we don't have.
Are you fully open now?
We are fully open.
All right.
Still working out some things, but fully open. We'd love to see you in there for lunch sometime.
Great. All right, thank you very much. So yeah, take a look at these and Travis, are these all new? Are these changes?
There's only like 2 small actual changes.
You may as well just tell us what they are, as long as,
It eliminates the time restriction from that was previously April through November, or November through April. And then adds a requirement it alters the refiling every year. It'd be a refile if you alter your storm plan, similar to what you would do for an alcohol license. But it also provides the city the right to reasonable request of proof of insurance to make sure that you can meet that, to make sure that if the insurance is in place, you don't have to go 5 years without knowing that there's insurance.
so is the idea to go year-round, or just extend the season if it's nice?
It would be year-round. There'd be no time restriction of the businesses to deal with that, and there is no time restriction.
Yeah.
Businesses use that.
I think the only concerns I've heard with doing that are obviously the sidewalks with the snow and the ice, and making sure that folks are able to get through. I'm sure that's something that will come up, and there'll be questions about that.
Yeah, it's something that we talked about as well, so we can work out some details on that if we need to. In talking with the plan department, they said to read that off for now, and we can do that if we need to. So
All right.
We can add some tweaks and work out the language on that if we need to. Or if a business owner were to obstruct the power manager or something
Yep.
like that, or some sort of fine, or things of that nature. If a business owner is going to obstruct it, then shovel your own sidewalk, not able to do it, and if that means that the shovel your neighbors.
Yeah.
Things like that.
All right, yeah, I'm sure that'll come up.
Yep.
There'll be some questions about that, so appreciate it. All right. Any other visitor comments or questions? Gary?
Yeah. Quick question, on the paving, how often do you look at the paving?
How often?
Yeah.
Only depends on, I guess it would depend on the road,
What about a low-traffic neighborhood road?
but our goal is to have, that we get the roads to last 20 years.
Okay. I just want to make a comment, and it's not about what's going on now, it's about going forward in 2024. 13 years ago, the mayor showed up at my house asking, I had 3 registered voters at my home, asking for my vote. I asked him, how long was he gonna serve? And he said, 2 terms. And he told everybody in this community he was gonna serve 2 terms. Okay, 8 years. The other thing I asked him, are you gonna clean up the Arnold building, and are you gonna clean up the Gacky building? Okay? The Arnold building got started in the 10th year of his term. Okay? In the spring, he was on his radio show and said we'd see shovels on the ground at Gacky building in August. And you can go back and read his, listen to his radio show. He said we'd see shovels on the ground at Gacky building. I went to the Gacky building today. There's still no shovels on the ground. Nothing's happened there. Okay? Now I want you guys to think about something. What are we doing up here? What's this department doing up here? Okay? We wasted a bunch of time on this alley project out here that nobody uses. Okay? It's been a waste of time. It doesn't get used. We wasted a bunch of time on that. 12 years ago, our last mayor left one unfinished project. Jeff, you were here, Mike, I think you were here. But City Hall was an unfinished project, and it was in the works, okay? Today, within a minute's time, I came up with how many unfinished projects in this community right now. It's because of this department upstairs. Kelly Park got started, it's not been finished. Obviously, the Gacky project has not been finished. The Marsh project has been started, it's not been finished. The Owens building has not been finished. What have we done to our residents up here on the North Buffalo Street project? It's not been finished. How about the airport? We've been talking about it for years, about a runway expansion. It's not been finished. You know, you hired a consultant to tell us how to run our downtown project, and you spent a bunch of money on a consultant. What are these guys up here doing? I'm hoping going forward in 2024, we'll take a serious look at this department up here. And I believe, I'm not Harvard sure, but I believe you've added a salary employee up in this department too. I've talked to 2 other department heads this year, and in the last 2 weeks, that have not had any employees increased in the last 12 years. So, what are these guys doing up here? Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Appreciate it. Anybody else? Michael?
Thanks for what you've done, and thank the rest of you for showing up Saturday night. It was a success. Some of you helped, some of you just enjoyed yourselves, and it was good to see you guys.
You did a nice job, Mike. 10 years running, you did a great job.
It was a team effort.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Great event for our community.
All right. Any other items carried forward? Other matters come before the council.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I would like to give each of the members of the council here a chance to share a few words, and then I'll have a presentation to make. And I'm going to start, okay? And we'll give clerk, we'll give city attorney, and each one of the council members a chance to speak. As you all know, this is the last council meeting of 2023. The last meeting of this term. And the last meeting with Joe Tallmer presiding as its mayor. I have had the distinct pleasure to serve the citizens of Warsaw with Mayor Tallmer for 8 years. You know what? Make that 11, because I was on the BZA for 3 before that. Our history goes back to when we graduated in Warsaw High School, class of 73. We didn't know each other very well back then. Joe had just moved in for his senior year. But we became better acquainted some 12 years ago when I began attending council meetings with Mike Reagan and a few others. Joe was already mayor, had served on the council for 12 years, and is now finishing up his 3rd term as mayor, so he's been here for 24 years. I thought it might be kind of fun to take this opportunity to roast him.
I think that already started.
But tell some stories, maybe even some complimentary ones. But my political sense told me this probably wasn't the best avenue or best venue to do that. So maybe some other time.
Thank you.
I've said many times that Joe and I don't always agree. But one of the things I'll miss about you, Mr. Mayor, is your political sense, your ability to get people to come together and to get things done. Notwithstanding the complaints earlier discussed, there's a lot of balls to keep in the air. There's a lot that's gotten done. Your ability to keep issues from getting out of hand, has been masterful. I will miss your vision for Warsaw. I will miss your ability to not just look at today's circumstances, but down the road into the future. The ability to set Warsaw up for future success. This past 4 years as council president, I've had the unique opportunity to get to know a side of Joe that is apparent for anyone who's really willing to open their eyes and look. Joe has done his best to assist anyone who seeks help. His door is always open, even though his schedule is insane. Where there are citizens I may have dismissed myself or failed to see their point of view, I see Joe showing compassion and doing his best to go the extra mile. Pickleball noise comes to mind. But you just can't do everything. You have to pick and choose. You have to prioritize. And the world doesn't always cooperate with you. The amount of balls that the mayor has had to keep in the air at one time is staggering. You're going to learn that.
Yeah, thank you.
You may not agree with everything he has done. And sometimes, just like the rest of us, his carnal nature will peek out a little bit. But he served and will continue to serve, not for his benefit, but for the benefit of the majority of the citizens of Warsaw. Joe's intentions, in my mind, are good. His moral compass is strong, and his love for our community is evident. I'll miss you, Joe.
Thanks, Jack.
Why don't we just start with Lynn and start working down? And I think Lynn has something to say for someone else as well.
I do, Jill. We'll start with Diane, because she actually wrote something down. And it says, here's a secret stash to keep you from going into withdrawal while enjoying Jill's at Super Healthy Meals. So it's a bag of goodies, and you're lucky it made it here. She's
Thank
sorry
you.
she couldn't be here.
Oh, boy.
You don't have to share with me.
You didn't see that.
Well, I didn't know Jill was going to be here. I just want you to know how I've appreciated getting to know you better. I appreciate all you've done for Warsaw and the growth we've seen. I haven't appreciated so much stuff working on the budget, but that's okay. We won't have to do it anymore. And it'll be up to Jeff to kick that ball down the road, so to speak. So thank you for all your help you give in my office and the city. And your service has been grand, and you should be very proud of yourself.
Lily, thank you very much. Appreciate all the work you've done. We've passed every audit you've been involved in. That's all I can ask of you. You've done great work for the city, so thank you.
I think Joe's done a very good job. I get phone calls from him quite regularly. I think he's got some unique traits. He can be good cop and bad cop at the same time, which I think is really difficult to do. I think he understands government. He's helped other communities. He's been a leader of the mayor's council. He's been big in AIM. He's learned from others. He's not too humble to do that. It's hard work juggling all the things, as Jack said. He listens to nearly everything that comes into the mayor's office. He's thoughtful. It's important to him, from small things to big things. I've seen him give a lot of attention to things like trees and cats and diversity and all kinds of stuff that and big projects. You know, he's got us on a direction. He's accomplished a lot. He's a hard worker. He's a kind person. I think he did a great job from what I've seen, and I know he's done an even greater job from all the things that you guys haven't seen. So the behind-the-scenes stuff, he really excels at, and we're going to miss him. This community is going to miss him. I'm grateful for his future endeavors. I think he's going to help a lot of people. I think he's picked a perfect thing to go do for him as he leaves this position, and I'm glad we had him when we did. So I think he was essential for these last 12 years. You know, COVID was something different. I'm glad we had his leadership and all of yours. But he likes it when people come to council meetings, comes to the meetings. He wants his community to be involved. He wants to hear from people. He wants you to come to the mayor's office. He wants you to talk to him. He wants to deal with the really tough issues, and I think that's what sets him apart. Is he's ready to stand on the front lines and take the punches every day and try to be fair, and he's done a great job of that. So I've been really impressed.
Thanks, Scott.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
I'm going to share kind of a funny memory, and it was prompted a little bit by Dustin's picture of our mayor out there with the paver. Early on in my first term and in the mayor's first term, we went to a Habitat for Humanity conference up in Detroit. And the mayor, when he started his term, was gifted with a Varial car that had been passed through several departments. What was it, a Buick or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was not in the best of condition. And partway in our journey, you could tell something was falling off of the car or juggling underneath it. So one of my first memories of our mayor is out there on the highway trying his best to put whatever had fallen off back up or to try to tie it in. And we laughed about that a lot. And that car eventually went on to other departments too.
I think it's still out the airport.
Yes, I think so. But trust me, I live just a couple of doors down, and I see the mayor's car there all the time. I see how hard he works. I don't think you are going to find a mayor probably that puts in more hours than what he does. And as Scott acknowledged, he doesn't run away from the hard issues. He takes all the calls, good, bad, indifferent. So, I admire you for that.
Thanks, Sydney. Glad we made it to Detroit.
Yes, I'm glad we did too.
And back.
Yeah, and back, yes.
Well, Joe, 24 years now with you, and it's been an absolute privilege to put in countless hours. If we could just add up the hours that we have kicked in together. And then 12 years ago, your willingness to step forward as mayor. And I've told people countless times, I've been up there, I've been at the table, and Joe was there before I got there, and I'm walking out to the parking lot, and you were still up there when I left. I still catch him in the mornings coming to school up in his office. I usually make the turn right here, and he's beating me to work in December, a school teacher. School teacher. Jeff, what do you look for in students? Your better students, and what do they bring? Number one, love of the subject. Number two, the willingness to truly kick in and learn the subject. I love history, because then you give them the 900-page textbook, and then that's when it gets real, okay? Joe's ability to kick in and be prepared. 24 years ago, I quickly learned, I was a little bit younger, and he's just ahead of me just a few years, early set, right? Okay, so, but it was because he was so prepared, I would catch him all this, not afraid to ask questions, and would always be asking questions to keep the council, to keep the mayor at the time in line, as well as petitioners and others who were at the meetings. And the other thing that good students are prepared and willing to ask questions, the last thing, looking for the right answer. Not 2 + 2 is 4. Public policy is not simple math. It is very, like Jack has said, very, very difficult. I teach it, and then I've been able to see it. But the kick in, not what Joe wants, but what can we do as a community, public, private, et cetera, to get it done and make things better. Joe, you love this community. And there isn't anybody in this room that could say, I love it more than Joe. Your willingness to kick in countless hours. I hope I can keep up with you here in the next couple of weeks and make you proud that, again, that hard work. And then back to looking for answers when it's not easy to do. You've always been willing to do it. Again, disagreeing, I mean, I've been there with him. I've argued with him and all that kind of stuff, and always willing to listen and work through it. So I've rambled here, but good students end up becoming good adults. And you're one heck of a mayor. You're one heck of a public servant. I actually call you a friend in the arena now. True friend in the arena. And also a servant leader. We have been blessed. The mark that you have put on this community has been so positive, and I thank you for that. Thanks, Joe.
I leaned over earlier. I was trying to tell Jeff to go last because I didn't want to follow him. He thought it was a nice gesture. I was doing it because I didn't want to have to follow him. So, great words, everybody. So, I could talk about the mayor's leadership, which is top notch. Dustin said it earlier. You can read all the books on leadership that you want. You can just look right down here. I could talk about that. I could talk about his probably immeasurable legacy that he's going to leave. But I'm going to talk about his work ethic. I'm going to share a story. Before I was elected up here, this was probably 6 years ago. I went to another small Indiana community. Won't name which one it is because doesn't hold them in very good light. But I walked in to City Hall for work. It was, I was there on a work trip and said, "Hey, can I speak to the mayor?" And they said he's not in. So I ended up talking to somebody else. I don't remember who it was. Doesn't really matter. And I said, "So is the mayor just off on business?" And they said, "Oh no, he comes in like 4 hours a week." And so, per the Indiana State Code, the mayor is a part-time position. So they're not required to come in and punch the clock 8 to 5 or 6 to 8 in Joe's case, right? 6A to 8P, just in case anybody was questioning that. And I thought, wow, man, our mayor works a lot more than that. And this was before I really knew him. I was just didn't know Joe that well. So, but I was like, oh yeah, I see him all the time. He's out. And then I got on this side of the table. Unmatched work ethic. Jack mentioned it earlier, Cindy. Such a full schedule. You don't work that hard just to work. You work that hard for things you care about. And that's what's really going to stick with me from you, Joe. So I appreciate it.
Thanks, Josh. That's very nice.
And you work for the things you love.
Absolutely.
Well, Jack asked us if we would like to say a few words. And, so I wrote down a few things. I'm just going to read off my phone here. Everything that's been said before me, it's all true. It's all true. Mayor Joe spent a great deal of his life dedicated to making Warsaw a better place. Serving 6 terms, 3 as a member of this board and 3 as the executive director of the city, he has led this council with relentless perseverance, keen insight, and an unmatched knowledge of how the city functions, as well as what was needed in order to continue and push forward and grow. He has appointed dedicated and hard-working department heads, which benefits everyone, and he has called on many citizens who otherwise would probably not have thought they could get involved to get involved. The accomplishments the city has achieved through his leadership are numerous, but to list a few, He was instrumental in the procurement of this building for a badly needed new city hall, as well as leading us through an arduous process to expand our wastewater and sewage treatment capacity with a new treatment plant. He championed building a new third fire station and a new parks office building, just to name a few. The city has grown and prospered under his leadership by expanding its borders, thus broadening the tax base and allowing us to keep the tax rate as low as possible, while still delivering top-notch city services to everyone, as we saw tonight from Dustin's presentation. He will be missed, but it is this council's intention to keep the momentum. Sorry, my phone kind of. Hang on here. He will be missed, but it is this council's intention to keep the momentum going and build upon our past accomplishments. I have learned much from him, and I am grateful. I thank you for your service and wish you all the best in the next chapter of your life's journey. And I'll say that to you. I wish you the best, and you, good luck. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Jerry.
Must be my turn. I don't know if I can add a whole lot. That's already been said thereby, but I did have a little difficulty getting in to talk to Joe. Just this past week I got to talk to him. Had to make a date, but that was fine. We had a nice little chat, and I think I told him what I thought of him, which has been very good. And we had a few little problems once in a while, but maybe nothing that ever upset either one of us, I guess. And I wish you all the very best as you go on into life. I got a few years on you, you know. Anyway, it's been great to know you, and I hope to continue to get to see you once in a while.
Thanks, Jerry, and thank you all. Jill, I didn't have you come thinking this was all going to happen. She humbles me when I get home. She's going to tell me to take the trash out.
Keep it up.
Yeah. I don't like hearing accolades because I'm my own harshest critic, and my dad taught me to work hard. Keep my head down and keep the blinders on and keep moving ahead. And there are distractions, there are naysayers. I learn from the naysayers. Not everything can be perfect. You know, a global pandemic kind of got in the way of a few things, caused some ripple effects for several years. But it's been the greatest job of my life. Being involved in the council for 12 years, I really felt like I understood what the council needed, and I tried to let the council work itself into the great leadership that they've become. And I think there's 3 or 4 of you up here that have been council president, and I think that's valuable. Like I think Josh said, to sit on the other side and understand what's really behind the curtain, if you will. It helps understands it, eliminates a lot of the distractions, and it helps you to just roll your sleeves up and get down to work. We're so blessed in this community with what we've got. Our legacy industry has been here going at it for almost 100 years. Has been responsible for our growth, for investment in our community. We're an extremely lucky community. Being mayor in this community has been a privilege. I just didn't want to mess it up. I really wanted to do the right thing, and can't please everybody. But I didn't think this meeting would be a big deal, and I told Jill 3 items and we're out. But I guess we should milk it a little, because this is it. No, I'm just kidding. But thank you all for the very nice things you said. I would say that's probably it.
Joe, I have one last thing.
Uh-oh.
This is a token of our appreciation from the council here. You know, usually in a situation like this, the go-to thing is a plaque. I hear you have enough of those. So we decided to give you this, that you could maybe enjoy with your wife, dinner and wine someplace. So, thanks.
Appreciate it. Thanks for everything. That was good. Okay. I'm going to step out of turn here a little bit, and I'm going to make the motion to adjourn the meeting. How's that?
And I would like to second.
All right.
Okay, so go ahead.
I'll make the motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that.
We're done. Thank you all. That was nice.
Oh, man.
Everyone hit the nail on the head.